ever feel like you're kind of stuck, you know? Like going through the motions, but not really living the life you pictured for yourself.
Yeah.
Bet you're ready to break free from that and like set a course for something more, well, fulfilling, right?
Absolutely.
Well, today we're going to dive deep into a conversation all about raising your standards. And trust me, this is about way more than just like, what are they called? Positive affirmations, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's about really understanding the psychology behind why we settle, why we got to put these limits on ourselves, and how to actually break those patterns for good.
Okay.
We're going to be dissecting a conversation between a motivational speaker named Aleena and a podcast host.
Oh, cool.
And she's got this like infectious can-do energy.
I love that.
And we're here to help you like extract the gold from their conversation.
Ooh, I like that. So think of this as your cheat sheet.
Right.
To not just understanding how to raise your standards, but also the science behind why it actually works.
Exactly. It all starts with a deceptively simple but crucial step. Clarity.
Okay.
Most people never reach their full potential because, well, they haven't really clearly defined what they want.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
Aleena makes this brilliant point in the conversation.
Okay.
What feels impossible or unrealistic to one person is literally someone else's daily reality.
Oh, wow.
It's like we're all living in different universes of possibility.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, like what's possible for me is totally different than what's possible for you.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That's where self-sabotage kind of creeps in, right? We tend to dismiss our own dreams as like, quote unquote, unrealistic before we even give them a chance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from that mental trap?
Well, Aleena suggests this simple but really powerful exercise.
Okay.
Ask yourself, and I mean really ask yourself this, what do I truly desire? And I mean really desire.
Okay.
Without any filters or judgment.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't even let those inner critics chime in yet.
Yeah. No inner critic allowed.
Exactly.
It's almost like giving yourself permission to dream again, right?
Exactly. And once you have that like crystal clear vision, it's time to build a fortress around it with boundaries.
Okay, let's talk about boundaries.
Yeah.
I feel like that word gets thrown around a lot.
It does.
In self-help circles. So what does Aleena specifically say about boundaries?
Well, she's adamant that boundaries are not about being selfish.
Okay.
Or like shutting people out.
No.
It's about protecting your energy, your time, and your aspirations. Think of them as a filter.
Okay.
Letting in what serves you.
Yeah.
And keeping out what drains you.
So it's more about priorities than anything.
Absolutely.
Okay. I love how she talks about saying no without feeling guilty.
Yes.
Even saying no to yourself.
Right. That's where it gets really interesting. Why do we feel so guilty about saying no?
Yeah.
It often stems from, societal conditioning,
right?
Fear of judgment,
right,
or even a misplaced sense of obligation.
So it's like we're afraid of like disappointing people or appearing mean.
Yeah, right. And that fear can hold us back from pursuing what truly matters to us.
Oh, for sure.
Aleena's advice is to reframe no as a way of honoring your priorities.
Okay.
Each time you decline something that doesn't align with your goals, you're actually saying a bigger yes to yourself and your vision.
Wow, that's a powerful shift. It's not about deprivation. It's about consciously choosing what you allow into your life.
I love that.
But what about those internal battles, the times we sabotage ourselves even when we know what's best?
That brings us to those sneaky little gremlins. Limiting beliefs.
Oh, yeah.
We all have them.
Yeah?
Those voices whispering doubts and fears, telling us we're not good enough, smart enough,
right,
or worthy of success.
I think Aleena's example about promotions really hit home for a lot of people. That idea of people like me don't get promoted. It's like a self-imposed glass ceiling.
It is. And what's fascinating is that these beliefs often operate below our conscious awareness. They're like programs running in the background, shaping our perceptions and behaviors.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do we even begin to identify and challenge these limiting beliefs?
Well, awareness is the first step.
Okay.
Start paying attention to your self-talk. What negative thoughts or assumptions pop up when you think about your goals?
Okay.
Once you've brought them into the light.
Yeah.
You can start to question their validity.
So you're saying, like, write them down, think about them, and see if they're even true.
Exactly.
Okay.
Aleena talks about reframing those negative thoughts.
Okay.
So instead of, I'm not good enough, it becomes, I am capable and deserving.
Okay.
It's about consciously replacing those limiting narratives with empowering ones.
So it's like instead of saying what you can't do,
Right.
you say what you can do.
Absolutely. And this is where understanding the psychology of thought patterns can be incredibly helpful. There are specific techniques like cognitive reframing that can help you shift your mindset.
So it's like rewiring your brain for success.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that rewiring sets the stage for the next crucial step, taking action.
Okay.
It's easy to get stuck in the planning phase, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of our goals.
Yeah, you get that like analysis paralysis.
Yes.
You overthink it and never actually get started.
Aleena has a brilliant antidote for this.
Okay.
Focus on the next step, not the entire staircase.
Oh, I like that.
So instead of staring at the summit of the mountain, just focus on putting one foot in front of the other.
Okay, yeah, like just take one step at a time.
Exactly. Breaking down a large goal into smaller, manageable chunks makes it feel less daunting and more achievable.
Right.
And this is where understanding the psychology of motivation comes into play. Our brains are wired to seek rewards and avoid pain. So by setting small, achievable goals, you create a series of mini victories that keep you motivated and moving forward.
It's like those video games where you level up and unlock new abilities. Each small win gives you that dopamine hit that keeps you engaged.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
And speaking of creating positive feedback loops, Aleena emphasizes the importance of building habits that support your desired lifestyle.
So it's not enough to just have the vision and take action.
Right.
You need to build a foundation of habits that make those actions sustainable.
Precisely. Habits are the building blocks of lasting change.
Okay.
They become ingrained in our neural pathways, making it easier to maintain those higher standards over time.
But how do we actually go about building those habits?
Yeah.
It feels like I've started a million new habits, but most of them fizzle out after a few weeks.
I think that's a common struggle.
Yeah.
The key is to understand the science behind habit formation.
Okay.
We could dive into that in more detail later, but for now, just know that it's a process that takes time and consistency.
Okay.
Aleena suggests starting small, focusing on one habit at a time and building up gradually.
So instead of trying to overhaul your entire routine overnight,
Right.
you might start with something as simple as drinking a glass of water first thing in the morning,
Exactly.
or going for a 15-minute walk each day.
Yeah, perfect examples.
And as you experience the positive benefits of those small habits, it creates a ripple effect, making it easier to adopt other habits that support your goals.
Absolutely.
So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Clarity, boundaries, limiting beliefs, action, habits. It's like a blueprint for personal transformation.
It is. And what's exciting is that this blueprint is accessible to everyone. It's not about having some special talent or superpower.
Right.
It's about understanding the principles, applying them consistently.
And I love how Aleena emphasizes that raising your standards isn't just about achieving external success. It's about creating a more fulfilling life overall.
I love that.
It's about becoming the best version of yourself.
Absolutely. It's about aligning your inner world with your outer world, creating a life that reflects your values and aspirations.
I love it. This has been incredibly insightful so far.
Good.
I'm already feeling inspired to make some changes.
Awesome.
But I know we've only just scratched the surface.
There's so much more to uncover. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into the practical applications of Aleena's wisdom and explore specific strategies for implementing these principles into your daily life.
All right, can't wait.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We've been laying the groundwork, understanding why raising your standards is so powerful.
Yeah.
But now let's get into the nitty-gritty of how to actually do it.
Right.
Let's pick up where we left off.
Right.
Boundaries.
Yes.
We talked about the theory, but what does setting boundaries actually look like in real life?
Right. So it's about recognizing where your energy is leaking and plugging those holes. Maybe it's saying no to that extra project at work when you're already swamped.
Right.
Or politely declining a social invitation that doesn't truly excite you.
You know, I think for a lot of us, it's also about those digital boundaries.
Absolutely.
Like how much time we spend just scrolling on our phones, getting sucked into the vortex of social media.
Yeah. Setting limits on screen time can be a game changer.
Totally.
And here's where the self-awareness piece comes in.
Okay.
Aleena talks about those internal conflicts. Like we set a goal to eat healthy, But then that bag of chips starts calling our name.
Oh, I know that feeling all too well. My willpower crumbles at about 8 p.m. every night.
Yeah.
Get it.
But instead of beating ourselves up, we can use those moments as opportunities to practice setting boundaries.
Oh, interesting.
It's about recognizing the pattern and gently steering ourselves back on course.
So it's not about being perfect.
Yeah.
It's about catching ourselves when we slip up
Yeah,
and making a conscious choice to realign with our goals.
exactly. And remember, setting boundaries is a skill, like any other.
Right.
It takes practice and repetition.
Like anything else, you get better over time.
Exactly. The more you do it, the easier it becomes.
That makes sense. It's like building a muscle.
Yes.
The first few workouts are tough, but eventually it becomes second nature.
Speaking of building those mental muscles,
Yeah.
let's dive deeper into habits.
Okay, let's do it. I feel like I've tried every habit tracking app and productivity hack out there,
Yeah.
but I still struggle with consistency. What's the secret sauce here?
Well, there's no magic bullet. But understanding the psychology behind habit formation can make a huge difference.
Okay.
Our brains are wired for efficiency,
Okay.
so they love to automate behaviors.
So we need to somehow hack our brains into automating the right behavior.
Exactly. And Aleena's emphasis on small, consistent changes is spot on. Research shows that it takes time and repetition to create new neural pathways. So instead of trying to change everything overnight,
Yeah.
focus on incorporating one tiny habit at a time.
I think a lot of people get discouraged because they set these huge, ambitious goals.
Yes.
And then when they inevitably stumble, they just give up completely.
It's like trying to run a marathon without any training.
Yay!
You need to build up your endurance gradually.
One step at a time.
Exactly.
So what are some practical tips for building those positive habits?
All right, I'll give you the goods.
Okay.
One powerful technique is called habit stacking.
Okay.
You basically attach a new habit to an existing one.
Oh, interesting.
For example, if you always brush your teeth in the morning,
Yeah, most of us do.
you might add a new habit, like doing 10 squats right after you brush.
So you're using that existing habit as a trigger for the new one.
Exactly. Another key factor is creating a supportive environment.
Okay.
Aleena talks about surrounding yourself with people who uplift you and inspire you.
It's like that saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with.
Precisely. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity
Right.
or people who enable your bad habits,
Yeah,
it's going to be much harder to maintain those higher standards.
for sure. So it's not just about willpower.
Right.
It's about setting yourself up for success by creating an environment that supports your goals.
Absolutely. And this can be as simple as decluttering your workspace,
Okay.
stocking your fridge with healthy food,
Yeah.
or unfollowing those social media accounts that trigger comparison or negative self-talk.
I love how Aleena talks about the power of visual reminders,
Yeah.
like creating a vision board
Uh-huh.
or having motivational quotes around you.
Those visual cues can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
They serve as constant reminders of your goals and aspirations.
It's like having a personal cheerleader in your corner,
Yes.
giving you a pep talk every time you look at it.
And don't underestimate the power of community. Surrounding yourself with people who share your values
Yeah.
and support your growth can be incredibly motivating.
It's like having a team of Sherpas helping you climb that mountain.
I love that.
They've been there before.
Mm-hmm.
They know the terrain,
Yeah.
and they can offer encouragement and guidance along the way.
And remember, as you're navigating this journey of raising your standards,
Yeah.
it's essential to celebrate your wins.
Yes. I think we often get so caught up in striving for the next goal
I know.
that we forget to acknowledge how far we've come.
Right. Celebrating those wins, no matter how small, helps reinforce those positive behaviors and keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
It's a way of acknowledging your progress and giving yourself credit for all your hard work.
It's like giving yourself a high five for every step in the right direction.
Exactly. And speaking of treating ourselves with kindness,
Okay.
Aleena makes a powerful point about the importance of self-care as part of raising your standards.
I think a lot of people view self-care as a luxury or something you do only when you have extra time.
Right, but it's actually an essential ingredient for sustainable growth.
Okay.
When you prioritize your well-being,
Yeah.
you have more energy and clarity to pursue your goals.
So what are some practical self-care strategies that people can incorporate into their lives? I'm always looking for new ideas.
Well, it really varies from person to person.
Okay.
It could be something as simple as taking a few minutes each day for deep breathing or meditation
Okay.
or indulging in a relaxing bath.
I love that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a grand gesture, right? It's about finding those little pockets of time to recharge and nurture yourself.
And remember, self-care isn't selfish.
Yeah.
It's about replenishing your energy so you can show up as your best self for yourself and for others.
This has been such a rich discussion. I feel like we've really unpacked some practical and powerful strategies for raising our standards.
We have.
We've covered a lot of ground,
Yeah,
but there's still more to explore
there is.
in the final part.
We'll bring it all together and discuss how to maintain that upward trajectory and make these changes last. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. From clarifying your vision to building those supportive habits. But now let's talk about the long game.
Okay.
How do we make these changes stick
Yeah.
and truly integrate those higher standards into our lives?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is.
It's one thing to get all inspired and make a few changes, but how do we maintain that momentum and not fall back into old patterns?
Because let's face it, life happens.
It does.
We get busy, we get stressed, and sometimes those old habits start creeping back in.
Aleena reminds us that this journey of raising your standards isn't about reaching some final destination and then just coasting.
Right.
It's an ongoing process of growth and evolution.
So how do we stay committed even when things get tough?
Right.
What keeps us from hitting that snooze button on our dreams? One key is to consistently remind yourself why you're doing this.
Okay.
Reconnect with that initial spark, that vision you created of the life you truly desire. What are the deeper values and aspirations driving you?
So it's about tapping into that intrinsic motivation, that fire within that keeps you going, even when the external circumstances aren't ideal.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
Building a support system can be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with people who uplift you, challenge you, and hold you accountable.
It's like having a personal board of advisors for your life.
Yes.
Those people who can offer a fresh perspective, celebrate your wins, and offer a gentle nudge when you need it.
And don't be afraid to seek guidance from mentors or coaches.
No, good point.
Sometimes having someone who's been there before can provide invaluable insights and support.
It's like having a map and a compass to navigate those uncharted territories.
Another powerful strategy is to regularly reflect on your progress.
Take some time to journal, meditate, or simply sit in quiet contemplation, reviewing how far you've come.
I think it's so easy to get caught up in the daily grind and lose sight of the bigger picture.
Right.
Those moments of reflection help us zoom out and appreciate how much we've grown.
And remember to celebrate those milestones along the way.
Yes.
Acknowledge your wins, big and small. It reinforces those positive behaviors and keeps you motivated.
It's like giving yourself a pat on the back for all that hard work and dedication.
As you continue on this journey, it's also important to be open to adjusting your course along the way.
So it's not about rigidly sticking to a plan.
No.
But rather being flexible and adaptable as we learn and grow.
Exactly. Life is a dynamic process, and our goals and aspirations may evolve over time.
Okay.
What matters is that we stay connected to our core values and continue to make choices that align with who we want to be.
And remember, raising your standards isn't just about achieving some external measure of success.
It's about creating a life that feels fulfilling and aligned with your truest self.
It's about cultivating a sense of inner peace, joy, and purpose. It's about becoming the author of your own story.
Wow.
Writing a narrative that reflects your values, your dreams, and your unique contributions to the world.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into raising your standards, I want to leave you with this thought. What's one small step you can take today to move closer to that vision of yourself?
Could be setting a boundary, incorporating a new healthy habit.
Right.
Or simply taking a few moments for self-care. Remember, even the smallest actions, when done consistently, can create a ripple effect of positive change.
It's been such a pleasure diving into this topic with you.
Likewise.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. Keep raising those standards and creating a life that truly lights you up.